GM.
GM. All right, you know what that is? I'm going to shout out the homie Dill, platinum record producer turned NFT maven and extraordinaire. Just dropped his new single, GM. Go check him out. DYL Dill on Twitter. Shout out the homie.
I'll have to check that out myself.
You're like, that wasn't the bit we planned in the
Come on,
show?
man. Stick
what
to
are
the
you
script.
even doing?
No, we have no script.
That?
We have no plans. We just jump in here and start just being degens with you. Degens. That was redundant. Verdab, GM, Shipper, Dekenza, here as always, here for the Moonbird Countdown Alpha. I like that you switch that up. Every day you've got a different title. Moonbird Countdown Alpha. T-minus 5 days? Is that what it is? 4 days?
So what?
Moonbirds.
Moonbirds.
Is it better than Wagme's? Oh god, dude, that Brandy Zuckerberg song was you know, I have a hard time hating on somebody having fun with something or whatever, but that was pretty cringe. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I support people expressing them, so I don't mind.
Yeah, I know that's the thing. Right? I've never hated TikTok as much as some people do. I'm like, I see kids going out dancing, having fun, and doing stuff. I'm like, that seems like not the worst use of their time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem. I think people are looking for things to make fun of and be outraged at. Look. I look to Vitalik at every conference to outrage me.
Perfect example.
And I know that like the woke crowd is all like, oh, you know, let him wear what he wants and act like he wants and express himself. No. Every bit
way too much at stake here of my portfolio.
Every bit of my net worth is in this person's hands. I don't need him dressing like a suck-a-corn or whatever the fuck it was called. At one of the most important industry conferences in our entire thing we have going here. Howley morning to you too, Sirach.
Fuck you money.
Yep.
Yeah, Sirach. Memes in the house.
Yeah, you gotta wonder about a guy that has just, you know, he doesn't have fuck you money. He has fuck everybody money. And he's still, you know, he comes into work every day because he believes blockchain is gonna revolutionize the world of that. Look,
I thought it was such a boss move when that shitcoin got airdropped to him and ended up being worth $1 billion. It might have been SHIB. And he literally donated the entire thing to charity.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't buy this. I didn't invest in it. It's all yours.
All right. I love the ideal. I do believe it is the people like Vitalik, the idealists, that make great things happen. I also think in the end it becomes it because once they've accomplished a great thing, they continue to push. All right, because they realize that the great thing that they accomplished didn't bring them what they thought it was going to bring them, and that's all I fear. I just hope that there are people there, and there are. Ethereum's great. The merge is about to happen. ETH2, $10,000 is coming. Get ready. Nekfos, I cannot wait to see you at NFT. I said, boy, I am so damn excited. Like, everybody is booking, right? And I keep going like, oh, shit, everyone's booking. What is it next? I'm like, oh, it's 2 months away. You know what?
Yeah, it's fast.
That's how excited people are, too. It's 2 months away. People are booking flights, hotels, getting ready. Tickets are there. They're flying $600 to get into NFT NYC. But shit, it's going to be about the parties. I mean, guys, whatever you saw in LA, that pretender, fake, silicone city of Los Angeles, New York, the fashion and financial capital of the world is going to do it like no other. And this year you have collaborations like Invisible Friends and Kith. You have BAYC launching their own NFT. You have a small company called Nike taking over the NFT world, based with a headquarters and a very, very large flagship store in New York City. I can only imagine the parties and possibilities that are going to be there. And yes, I am Tropics +1 to these things. So please, everyone else, stop asking him. He's already let me know that I am his +1 to any important Phonex event. So
is that actually, or are you capping, as the young kids say?
Boy, you just boomered it up in here. I'm not even going to answer. I'm not even going to dignify that with a spot. Tropics knows what's true. I don't have to prove myself.
Whoa, turning 21 on June 7th. Good time.
Yeah, baby. You'll really be able to enjoy NFT NYC. And I hear cannabis is also legal in New York for those who are 21 and over, and you can consume it anywhere you want. So
you can
NFT,
join the army.
This is going to be the NFT NYC. You know, what happens is this is going to be the NFT NYC that defines an era. And for the next 7 years, people are going to be chasing that high until the year of 2029, when all risk assets explode and we go into the next secular bear. But guess what? You're going to be ready for it. Hell, you're even going to be short. You know why? Because Uncle FMC's got your back. Let's do the drum roll. Get it started. Go for it.
GM Degens, and that was an emphatic drum roll. Thank you. It is the AlphaMint Morning Show, episode 110, on the morning of April 12th. I am your host, R2 Degen, and I am joined with me every single morning by Mr. FMC.
Hey
now, dude, hell of a drum roll there. You almost went on a little bit of a John Bonham drum solo there to start it banging away. Always a great way to get the morning started. We've got a little bit of a show for you today. Actually, quite a big day in NFTs, as Gary V's VeeFriends V2 is starting their mint. It is quite a drawn out cycle, and we're going to talk about this because there is a bunch of different layers that is very interesting about this project. Obviously, the Vaynerchuk brothers in some hot water over the Vayner Sports mint last week, but this is a big one, and there's going to be some dynamics to kind of dissect. Other than that, things were a little bit slow yesterday. Not a lot of news coming out. A couple things pumped. A lot of talk was centered around that Not Banksy project, as we brought up yesterday morning, and
that was all the talk, baby.
Really trying to figure that out.
Not Banksy day.
I unfortunately didn't have a chance to jump into any of the spaces that were being discussed there, but I pretty much saw one going on or two at all points of the afternoon. So I'm hoping maybe Free Market can break that down a little bit for us. On the market side of things and the chart side of things, we actually had a nice little recovery yesterday. It's definitely not anywhere back to the levels that we were a week ago, but we did manage to break back through that 3,000 mark after a very, very brief dip into the 2,900 ranges. We are sitting at 3060 right now for Ethereum and 40,400 for Bitcoin. Obviously 40K and 3K and on those two are big numbers that you kind of want to hold for a long period of time, and then things start to get a little bit uglier if we put some distance below those numbers. S&P's doing pretty well this morning too, 44.35 up 0.6%, which for the S&P's doing okay. What are you seeing today?
Well, let's talk about the broader market real quick, because yesterday, as things seemed very doom and gloom, and I'll tell you right now, we'll get back to this, but I think crypto's decoupling from markets here a little bit, and that's a very healthy sign. But in general, yesterday, everything was down except the Russell. And if you don't know what the Russell is, it's the Russell 2000 index. It is the index of small caps. These are your riskier companies. These are the riskiest companies out there that tend to need to take on debt, okay? When you are a small, risky company, you usually have to borrow money to get to try to accomplish your goals. And it's very interest rate sensitive, which makes it very inflation sensitive. And yesterday, as markets were getting killed for, generally bearish headlines, nothing too crazy in particular, but just general like, hey, how can we even be bullish with all this bad stuff going on in the background? While all that was happening, the Russell was up. That was perplexing to a few people. It was basically either up or slightly down most of the day, bucking the trend. Today, as we come into markets, the Russell is up twice as much as everything else, and everything's up at least 1% right now. And that's because we got an inflation print that missed the worst expectations. It came in at 8.5% today, which is obviously very hot compared to what we've been used to over the last decade, but a lot softer than what we were expecting. So, wow. And, combine unexpected softer inflation news with the market essentially setting up to do this anyway on a technical level. And we're getting a really nice snapback today that I don't think people expected. The VIX is getting crushed. Every single stock and every single index, even bonds on my screen, are green right now. And it just feels like that we were basically in a major risk-off environment. We saw the snapback that's very hard to know whether it's just a mean reversion or an actual accumulation phase again. We got the pullback, okay, but then it almost started to dip a little more than we expected. And we were like, oh no, maybe it was just a bear market rally. Maybe it isn't real. Well, with the VIX getting crushed and the entire complex up the way it is today, I would say that people are feeling like maybe they were positioned the wrong way, and it's going to get kind of bullish out there. Switch over to crypto. I think crypto has decoupled a bit. All right. Yeah, it's bounced back, but it hasn't even bounced back to that 3,200 support, or we could call it resistance now that we were trying to change in to support. So crypto's decoupled a bit. I think what's going on in crypto really has a lot more to do with taxes being due on Friday. And once we get past that, next week we're going to see buying again. But general markets look like they're shifting back to risk on. This is a good backdrop. Crypto going through its own little moment, but setting up bullish again. Now, the chart is still in that neutral area, and yesterday ETH tried to dip under 3,000. Good news, it was quickly bought. It did not stay under there very long. That seems like a rejection of lower prices. The Goblin Town crew was out celebrating yesterday. That's usually a good indication that short-term sentiment has gone too bearish. Let's see if we could build on all of this. But man, I'm liking what I see. Not just in crypto, but in the broader markets here. So,
yeah, definitely. Some kind of bullish news coming out of the investor stock world as well. 72% of financial advisors would invest more in crypto if spot ETF were available, says NASDAQ survey. Although a majority of financial advisors would invest more in crypto if a spot ETF product were available, they don't expect one this year. We see time and time again those ETFs being denied by the SEC and really kind of struggling to get online there. But it sounds like if, financial advisors are saying they would invest more in crypto, that there's probably demand from the client side of things asking their financial advisors about crypto. I used to work in the bar and restaurant industry. I really didn't go out of my way to talk about it too much, but you could definitely get a sense of something brewing there when you hear a lot of some of the older folk being like, what's this Bitcoin or crypto thing, and should I be investing in it, or should I allocate some of it? And of course the answer is always like, it depends on what your situation is, but the sentiment is it's probably, and I definitely got the sense it's a lot of like their kids being like, all of this money that you have sitting around, what are you doing with it? And that pressure starts to go in through, the kids to the parents to the financial advisors to these institutions. Clearly there is a lot of demand there, and those are some pretty big floodgates that could open up too.
Gigantic. And I mean, this is the biggest petty move that governments make. And quite frankly, I consider it very bullish. This is literally people talk about regulation and like, oh, we're scared this regulation is going to come. They're going to do this and they're going to do that. If they could actually do those things, they would have done them. You know why? Because every day they don't, it gets harder for them to do. Every day they don't, our lobbyists get richer. Every day they don't, crypto becomes more relevant whether they like it or not. The one thing that they've been able to do, because they know it is a huge gate to mass adoption. But the one thing they're able to do is squash every fucking ETF we have tried to code. They even allow Bitcoin and Ethereum futures to be traded, which nobody uses. Literally nobody fucking trades those things. They might as well kill those products tomorrow. They're pointless. They're pointless. But they prevent ETFs for no reason, for no logical reason. Obviously, we're not talking about allowing ETFs on shit coins. We're talking about a Bitcoin and an Ether ETF. This is the only power they have. The only regulations I expect from governments are them doing things like this. No, we're not going to give it to you because we don't. Blah, 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 blah. Eventually, we'll have it, and it will be huge. It will be huge. Look, regardless of what you think, crypto is. It is a fucking drop in the bucket compared to traditional stock, bond, and derivative markets. There is so much fucking money. It would be game over. We would all be rich. I don't even say that in a facetious manner. That's the fucking kitty. That's the real We're not looking for this like mass adoption where everyone in the United States puts $300 onto Coinbase. Fuck that. We want pension money. Give me that pension money.
Yeah, and that's the big thing too. It's the access to it, right? We're talking about, people who have investments of their own on top of the pensions. The pension money is obviously gigantic, and that's a absolute game changer. But you talk about that demographic of like the 60, the 70-year-olds. They've accumulated wealth, and they're just not the kind of people, for the most part. I don't want to generalize too much, but go on to Coinbase, send in your passport and your like those people are like, I'm not doing that. Like they're still in the phase of like, I don't trust a lot on the internet. COVID has definitely helped that, getting the idea of online ordering, spending money, putting your cards and stuff on there, and it's safe now. But getting to that step of doing that on Coinbase, crypto is already a little bit, it's a little bit dark. It's a little bit sketchy for them. Buying on a recurring basis, and then is Coinbase it? No, you want to do self-custody or anything like that. It's very daunting for a lot of people, especially elderly people. So this is the way that most of that money is going to make it into the markets before it's transferred eventually.
Is that true, Jeff? What? They want to add ADA and BM. I can't even tell if you're trolling me. They really want to add Cardano futures?
Every once in a while, you guys come through with an epic troll. You get us to bite.
I gotta go look at the bear market bears. I still
check on a daily basis.
Cardano. Oh my God, he's serious.
Wow.
What?
What you were saying, Bitcoin and ETH, I was like, yeah, those are really the only two that were interested. And it had crossed my mind. I was like, and not even futures, but I was like, imagine a Cardano one. What's that? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, I know it's you, Jeff. That's why. No, and we should listen to him, R2. That's 2 year.
I know. That guy is a master.
No, he knows. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, how much volume does ADA have on a daily basis? Do they need futures?
Are you talking about just like actually coin traded volume? It's typically pretty big, 1.2 billion in the last 24 hours. I mean, that's probably not big in the grand scheme of things. We're talking 31 and 20.
How much volume is that? 24 million?
1.2 billion B.
Volume they've done in the last 24 hours?
Yeah.
All right, give them the fucking futures. Fine. Give them the fucking futures.
The top 10 are basically all over $1 billion a day traded.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty wild. Surprise, motherfucker.
I just didn't know anyone's even trading the Bitcoin and the ETH futures. Like I only said that because I figured they weren't making any money on them, but people are actually trading them? I guess so, because I guess if you work at an actual FINRA regulated place, that'd be the only way you could touch them, right? Like, is that why they're used? I don't know.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I've owned Cardano.
Sure,
I always believed in Cardano until I held it for 4 years and realized they really hadn't done anything yet. But when you say can the devs do something, I think it's fair to ask that after 4 years. But I know that there's going to be people in here that say they have been doing stuff, and I know that they have been developing. Don't worry, I'm not trashing Cardano.
Of all the zombie coins, it's the only one that's going to make. I mean, we see all these weird ones up there like Bitcoin Cash and ETH Classic and
these
stuff.
do
Like,
not.
they make no
XRP
sense.
has no business being there, and
None of those
the
make sense.
dozens of XRP
Right.
bulls that are left are going to tell me that I'm wrong, but that one should never have been there. It was always a fucking.
And I guess is market cap's probably not the best way to even be listing these things in order, though I guess it does kind of indicate size and how much money is in a protocol. Why is there so much money? And does it indicate that? Like, what's the
XRP
TVL
was
and Ripple?
one of the first ones aside from like Bitcoin and ETH that like I think a lot of people made a lot of money on, and I think that there's just this like still this like still that resonating. I mean, that was a lot of people's like 100x, 200x, right? So, yeah.
Forget when BitCloud futures. How about when BitCloud future?
Heyo, let's move on. Hold on. Nick and she is saying Forex brokers trade currency futures. They are treating these as currency, but maybe they are more like Web3 stocks. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and no, I'm not saying I don't see the point of having crypto futures. I just think that the way the instruments were conceived, everything I was hearing was that like they're too expensive to trade, nobody's using them, that type of thing.
Yeah. Illuminati throwing some fire out there when BitCloud features. Not wrong, my friend, not wrong. All right. Some big news. Well, not big news yesterday. Coinbase did a little bit of trolling. They posted a tweet that said something is coming, probably nothing. Of course, everybody's immediate reaction, because we've all been waiting incredibly patient for this for a long time, is the Coinbase NFT marketplace. Oh my God, it's here. They're finally going to push it out. I've heard rumors that it is absolutely imminent. This is coming online anytime now. They drop this bomb, the world goes crazy very briefly until they followed it up about 2 hours later with this one, the Degen Trilogy, an interactive film series by Coinbase, ApeCoin, and Bored Ape Yacht Club. Build a new world, discover who you really are. And then everyone went, oh, okay. So anyways, the long and short of it is essentially that Coinbase is going to be producing what they call an interactive 3-part film featuring the Bored Ape community. That would be interesting to watch, no doubt. I'd be fascinated. I would absolutely watch it the second that it comes out. But definitely was a big pump fake coming out of Coinbase yesterday, and not quite the stir or the splash that I think everyone was expecting. That being said, Bored Apes continue to dominate headlines. Bored Apes continue to have attention put their way. I saw this morning the floor of the apes themselves are about 113 ETH, which is absolutely incredible. They have just had a relentless march back up to that 125. And of course, mutant apes are starting to flirt with 30 ETH floor again as well. So incredible run. I don't know if you
less than 2 weeks now until they turn into long-term capital gains.
Oh yeah, actually, that's a very good point too, right? It's so easy to forget how new the Bored Ape Yacht Club actually is, being launched in the end of April, beginning of May. For those that minted and have held through all of this, yeah, I mean, long-term capital gains tax for American citizens are about to come online, and it will be fascinating to see what the action on that is. I don't know if you have any predictions or if it's just like an automatic sell, because I mean, when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of cap gains, that percentage makes a gigantic difference.
So we're going to assume that the people who give away their seed phrases for a lollipop are going to look into the intricacies of U.S. tax law and determining whether they're going to sell their apes. Great thesis.
All right, well, if that's where we're going with it. All right, well, back to the films. Did you see anything about that? Were any of the people you were follow on Twitter talking about it?
Yeah, I saw some chatter about it a little. I saw some snark. I think when you see a story like this, snark is your initial reaction, because look, a movie, a show of any caliber is really going to have to, these things. what we've developed here are images, okay? And they're great images and they can be used in a ton of media, but TV shows and movies are about character development, writing, all sorts of things. Could they come out with some amazing media? Sure. But I think that's a lot more dependent on the people that they hire to help conceive this. And you're obviously going to want Hollywood pedigree at every level of this. And if it can be done correctly and pulled off, it makes me very excited. These type of things, I can't wait to see NFT themed movies and stuff. I of course want them to put as much care into it. I would say a lot more care into it than they did into their merch.
Yes, please, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. You know what? These things can actually serve a really, really great purpose. It's fascinating for us, but if they can do it in a way that it's just a great film, anyways, you know, like if it's an enjoyable to watch, the production values there, they create compelling, interesting storylines around the people, you know, that they're following and documenting and speaking to. You know, these are the kind of films that in a lot of ways, you know, they end up on Netflix and then you get maybe like a little bit of a trending cycle. I remember years ago watching the uh shit, there was a Bitcoin documentary on Netflix that was actually really well done, and the name is escaping me right now, but I watched that with my wife, and you know, um it's funny because it follows the early days of Bitcoin, and it was a lot of nerd culture or whatever, but it really like helped her get it, right? Like it's a real thing. There's like real ideals behind it. There's real intelligent people that are building this stuff, working on it, participating in it. And it was done in a friendly way and in a fair way, I thought, and it really kind of helped the conversation between her and I, because crypto was something that I already been in for a while and talking about it, and I know that she was just like, yeah, okay, like I get it, you have these imaginary coins. It really did a great job of framing the actual situation. This could be the same thing in terms of that. You know, it just takes a couple million people to watch it and get excited about it and start going down that NFT rabbit hole, and boom, there you are. I am very excited for this. Also very exciting, as we were mentioning pre-show about NFT NYC in June, the first film in the series will debut there. So hopefully maybe we can get a
I think
peek
there's
at
going to
it
be
at the time.
so much. I think, woof, man, NFT NYC, book your tickets now, book your Airbnbs.
We were hyping up the Super Bowl a lot this year, and that ended up being a dud. But this is our Super Bowl, baby. Other big news. There's still a little bit of clarity that needs to be shown on this, but Epic Games, of course, behind Fortnite, raises $2 billion to build the metaverse. Will it use crypto or NFTs? Sony and Lego's parent company are backing the Fortnite makers' metaverse plans, but it is not clear whether Epic Games will build on blockchain networks. And that is the big linchpin. Almost hesitant to mention it, but when an entity like Epic Games and Fortnite, which we often reference as like a great use case for NFTs, starts going in this direction and raises $2 billion, it's going to turn some heads. And this is one of those big ones. I mean, they already have a platform that is built and exists for their battle royale game. People use it like a metaverse. They go and hang out in it. They've thrown Travis Scott concerts and Marshmello concerts, all of these metaverse things that we talk about. Like my kid has already been doing for the past several years. We talk about cosmetics. We talk about interoperability. This could be a huge step forward in it. I have no idea how much they're going to, um, respect the NFT and the crypto community if they're building it and they are using that. That's always one of the big question marks as to if these large companies kind of just get it, if you know what I mean. But in terms of brand name and power, this is like the big one, right?
That's what they tell me. I'm not a big gamer, but all I hear is this Fortnite, Fortnite, Fortnite. And they removed something called building. No clue why that matters
Yes.
or do I care, but apparently people who know how to build will build high things and shoot you from the top of them while they're building. something to that effect. I don't know.
Tune in every day for
crazy.
more breakdowns of video games with Free Market Capitalist.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like the gameplay itself, love it or hate it. This is a game that has brought in some of the biggest IPs in the world to collaborate with. Of course, like Marvel. Now I'm just gonna draw blanks on everything. Marvel's a huge one. You got some jammers going on in the background there. Regardless, yeah, keep an eye out for this. $2 billion, no small amount of money when it comes to this, and some huge names being involved. So we'll follow it. We'll see where they go with it. I can't imagine that this is going to be a super fast process for them, but a process nonetheless. We talked a little bit about Moonbirds yesterday. Actually, we've talked a lot about Moonbirds in the past week or so. Obviously, the talk of the town. It is fast approaching. Just as a, for instance, we mentioned that the 2.5 ETH could be transferred out of the wallet. People were botting it and whatnot. Ryan Carson, of course, in the Proof Collective team, said botters thought they could mass create Discord and Twitter accounts and thousands of wallets and then simply move 2.5 ETH around. And then the, of course, classic Ray Liotta laughing gif. It is just begging the question of, yes, like, perhaps on that April 15th, 9 a.m. Pacific, when the winners are announced, is when the check is going to happen. So I don't know if this is just like a haha deterrent, like to try and, head fake people, or if this is the actual case, but it sounds like they have measures in place to protect against, somebody that has the scripting ability to create 10,000 accounts and enter this 10,000 times. So I hope that is the case, and I hope that that makes it as fair as possible. Of course, Moonbirds is coming up quickly.
Everybody wants the Moonbirds. Yeah, get in that raffle. What'd you say? 14th? Is that the deadline?
Well, the winners are announced on the 15th. I can't remember when it actually
winners
closed.
Announced on the 15th. So, yeah.
Dickens is saying not going to move any ETH so I don't get false flagged. I think that's a safe pay. Yeah, it passed already. Okay, I wasn't sure if they extended it or not. They extended it already, but I think it ended yesterday.
Okay. So yeah, got to have your raffles in. Good luck. They'll be picking you on the 15th. And I guess, what I have heard across multiple alpha rooms, that people are going to pay up to 4 or 5 on the secondary if they miss these. So I think these are going to have a continued hype cycle for a few days, maybe even a couple weeks after they mint. We're hearing 10-12 is programmed. Wouldn't be surprised if they get there. So very, very, very good luck to everybody in that raffle. Let's hope AM stacks a good 15 or 20 of them.
Yeah, I'm excited for the homies to hopefully win some of those and be a part of it. I actually kind of just want to see what the community's like, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, and unless any big news comes out, that's probably for the most part where we're at until the mint goes down. Nick and she also kind of going back to the Bored Ape comment or conversation was saying, I hope they depict holders who are NFT poor. Meaning those who own high value NFTs but have no money IRL. It's a phenomenon no one ever talks about. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely talked about it a little bit on this show.
I think it's one of the funniest things in the world. But yeah, maybe normies don't quite get it. But, yeah.
You know what? Most of those conversations at this point can be considered null and void with the success of the ApeCoin too. I mean, they did get a substantial chunk of change that was probably more than most of their initial investments, regardless. So I think
of which none of them sold.
Could be.
How do you how do you hold a fucking monkey JPEG for a year to get that airdrop and then think they're gonna sell those things before they hit $100? This is it.
It's
these guys know how to hold. Diamond handed.
Faux show. Okay, let's get into. Oh, actually, one little final note. Saw this pop up yesterday, and boy, Discord hacks are getting stupidly sophisticated or whatnot. I hope that Discord has got their security team following all of this and just ripping through everything. The new Discord hack technique. If you receive a DM with a picture that's not loading, do not open it. It will steal your Discord session token and let the hacker change your password and use your account freely. The A2F does not protect against it. Report suspect activity to admins. God, this is fucking terrifying. You know, every once in a while you get a Discord image that kind of gets stuck in perpetuity, just loading, and you try and click. Like, now you can't do that. Like, all I got to say is turn your DMs off. Don't turn them on for anything. It's just not worth it. And just stay safe out there, because if they can, you know, find ways into your Discord account through a loading image, who knows what else they're going to come down with. So Discord, get on top of your shit, man.
Yeah, don't click anything for any reason ever.
Well, is it you that said nobody ever got rich in the DMs?
Yes. And it's true. No one ever came to you to make you rich in the DMs. Now, if you go and send the right DM to the right person in this industry, that has opened up doors for more people than I can count. In fact, this is not like Hollywood. This is not like any. Most people in Web3 will answer your DM. Do not be worried. I would go out there. But as far as anybody ever sliding into your DMs to make you rich, never going to fucking happen. You know, there's no reason. No reason.
Yep, of course. I would say Twitter is a great intermediary for this as well. You know, like, I've had people trying to DM me when it comes to like maybe some Star Wolf stuff, like somebody reaches out from a community or something, and I'm like, I have no way of verifying if this person is legit. And I say, you know, shoot me a DM on Twitter from the official account, and then we'll talk, right? And that's a good way of kind of like just passing the buck into a different platform and making sure that you can verify all of that stuff. But by and large, the DMs stay closed on Discord. But you're absolutely right. Like, you know, it is a very accessible space. It's easy to reach out to people, start to have a conversation with them, and most will happily do it for you. I typically just encourage it to be done on Twitter.
Just don't start your DMs with hi or hey and nothing else. No one's fucking responding to you. You need to have a very short and concise pitch that isn't shilly. And I know that sounds hard, but that's how you go into somebody's DMs.
Yeah.
And
hey, I am looking for this, or I would hope to have a conversation with you about this. This is why I bring value to the table. Hope to hear back from you. Boom.
Right. And you're gonna be ignored sometimes, but I have found people in Web3 to be extremely receptive. If you're coming with, you know, not bullshit. I mean, if you actually are building something or can help them build something or are interested in learning from them, people have been very receptive in Web3 and NFTs. So.
Stay safe out there, DGens. Last topic we have of the day is, of course, the big mint. VeeFriends V2 starting today. A couple of reasons why this is a very interesting subject to kind of dig into. Of course, VeeFriends version 1, a 10K collection sitting at a 12 ETH floor, obviously done by Gary V, who is definitely the highest exposure personality in NFTs and the real world. I think, you know, his participation, you could probably argue someone like Snoop or something, but Gary V really just has this culture surrounding him where when he says something, the people that are big Gary V fans really do listen and kind of shuffle in that direction. VeeFriends has obviously done incredibly well, serving as an access pass to like his Gary conference or whatever it is, VCon. And yeah, so now the next iteration of the VeeFriends is coming. And it's fascinating for a couple of reasons. Number one, you have 12 and a half days to mint if you are on the friends list. 12 and a half days. This is a 2-week allow list process. I can't think of anything similar to that. We talked about it in Star Wolves about just giving people ample amounts of time, not rushing it and spreading it out over a pretty reasonable amount of time. This is like even a next level. Like 2 weeks is going to be really crazy to watch what that does for the price action, what that does for the attention of it. Part of that reason I do think is because they did just announce the mint price. It was going to be pegged to ETH at a, I think $999 price point. So as of yesterday, that price was set at 0.335 ETH plus the gas. and it gets a little bit even crazier when you look at the supply of them. This is a 55,555 NFT project. We often talk about 10Ks looking forward into the future being a small supply, whereas it's viewed as large right now. We talk about the derivative or the second generation projects like Mutant Apes bumping it up to 20K, Gutter Cats doing 20K, Cool Pets doing 20K, and how that's a great kind of next step as an entrance point into their ecosystem. VeeFriends is like cranking this up to 11 and going a full 55,000 plus. 2-week mint, gigantic supply. Public sale of 10,000 supply is going live after that. There will be. It's not like an over allocated thing. Anyone with a series 1 is going to get one free one. And then, of course, there's going to be some new characters in Gary's book games thing where you had to buy a shitload of his books and he gave you a token, is going to be eligible in there as well. I need a breath. Where do you sit with all of this? How do you think this is going to go? He is on the, the precipice of raising, quick math, 25,000 ETH out of this. And I think people are going to happily give it to him.
There's very few collections and creators that can actually demand, that actually have the demand to put out a companion collection like this. Gary Vee's one of them. Obviously, it's 50,000. It's very high. It's a high price, but he knows a lot about this market, and quite frankly, he's the most popular person in this market. People want access to his world. They want the utility that a Gary Vee product can offer. So I highly expect this to sell and sell well. Now, whether it can maintain this price or go up on the secondary, I don't know. You'd probably need a lot more demand than just 50,000 people to make that happen. I'm curious to see what a 2-week pre-sale friends list means or does. I mean, that's a long time to be sitting there and watching something. Do they really need that much time? We'll see. We will see how many of these get bought up in the first few days or so. But we just had a very large Vayner drop through his brother, which was a disaster because of the contract and the amount of gas that was being taken.
ETH burn.
So while I would not expect the same type of thing to happen here as they learn from their mistakes, given all the dynamics we see here, you could just imagine something going wrong or something weird happening. So curious to see how these play out. The art is much, much better than his V1s, but obviously his V1s have all that juicy utility. We will see what he can offer. But in general, as I look at these things and I say who or what out there has both the demand and the clout to put out large companion collections, Gary Vee's right there. Are the numbers too big? Is he being too ambitious? I guess we'll find out, but I think he has a very, very good beat on this market and will likely sell out.
Yeah, I can't imagine a world in which they don't sell out, as shocking as that may sound. With the supply, like, I think he has enough fans. I think he has enough people looking to get into the ecosystem. Of course, this is going to be scaled down utility compared to the V1 collection. But I also think it's really important, was what you said, is most projects don't have the clout, the standing in the NFT space to launch a companion collection. It's not a great go at it if you're doing it only after a couple weeks or a month or whatever. It's not cold. It's calculated. Cool Cats really, as big as they are and as revered as they are in this space, it really took a toll on them by releasing a companion collection when they weren't ready to do it. And obviously they had their own issues with it. Bored Apes obviously pulled it off to great success. Fuck. Why am I drawing a blank on the The that big one, not
Too many edibles.
Yeah, I guess so. I want to say Akira. That's not the name of it. Azuki. Fuck. Jesus. Oh God. Sorry about that. Yeah. Like they reach this point of like standing trust floors. Obviously, Gary V can absolutely pull this off. It is ambitious as hell. I have no idea what a floor price of a 55K collection ends up looking like, especially when the mint price is as expensive as it is. So it's going to be fascinating to watch all of this kind of transpire. But it's going to be over the next 2 weeks. So it's going to be hard to kind of take a grasp. And it obviously we'll check back in. We'll see where they're at, see how many people, take them up on that friends list sale, which I think will be most of them. But here's the thing. He has set that 2 weeks as an expectation. There's no going back on that. They are, even if they are 95% minted, they are not going to speed this process up. That would be a disaster for them. I do think that this might be one of the first 4 instances of these like big names and drops and how they have to treat it very carefully and, manage the expectations and whatnot. Like, if they had done a 12-hour allow list mint and really just skyrocketed off, maybe there would have been a lot of criticism from his fans, from his traditional holders that, there was too much of a rush to try and free up 0.33 ETH of liquidity. I do think that this is probably the smartest thing he could have done is drawn it out, even though how, counterculture to NFTs that actually is.
Yep.
So, on that note, yes, Cass, actually, thank you for pointing that out too, is Azuki's huge sale last night. Had another 210 ETH sale on rank 19. Forgot to pull that up this morning, but I did see that floating around. I appreciate you mentioning that. I will bring this page up. It is still the second largest sale of all time. Of course, that 420 ETH one happened last week or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, somebody dropping a cool, I don't know, what is that, $2 million in there? Quick math, can't do it. Sorry. No, it's not even. It's like $800,000 or $900,000. So. What do you got going on over there, free market? What's your day looking like? Maybe a nap is in order.
Yeah, my sleep schedule has been weird. I have to say. It's a pretty Azuki.
Yeah. I mean, it's what is that worth now? 3K, 200, 600,000, just over $600,000 for that JPEG. So ranked 19th Azuki. And I guess top 20 holders rejoice because it has definitely established a pretty solid price for the rare Azukis in there.
People hated Azukis at 9 ETH. And then last week, man, they were just lining up to pay 33 ETH for them. And now they sit at 20. So I just want everybody to, okay, now when everyone's shitting on Azukis and saying, oh, was it just a false pop? It was a hype thing. They've fallen all the way back to 20. Now's when you start thinking of buying an Azuki. 33 ETH. How many people were buying them when they got up there? I mean, come on.
Everything looks better when it's worth 6 figures, I guess, right?
MFers. 0.1 for I don't know how long. Oh, we love the MFers. FMC. Why do you love the MFers? MFers talking about them all the time. MFers. No one wants to buy them. MFers hit 3 ETH. FMC, should I get an MFer? Should I get an MFer? Oh, come on.
Yeah, and Cass mentioning that there was the Hikari mint as well, sitting at a 0.4 ETH floor. I'm going to do a little bit of exploration on this project too, because the website looks very nice, clean. I just hope that the NFTs aren't as dark as the Muri ones, and this color palette is kind of looking like it. But yeah, we were busy yesterday releasing the light paper for Star Wolves, so appreciate all of the love and the excitement that everybody showed there for it, but give you a couple of sneak peeks. Looking at the Hikari Twitter right here. Looks like they have a talented art team. It's looking pretty slick. Cass, yeah, shoot me a DM and you can come up. We've got about 10, 15 minutes left that we can chat. So if you shoot me a, oh, there you are. I didn't even open Discord. Butter saying he needs another 0.1 cook. He listens. GM Cass.
GM RT, how art thou?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm alright, man. I'm alright. Just a bit tired and tired.
The name of the NFT, game.
No, it's been a hot week. To be fair, it has been a hot week. Like Hikari, I was telling people about Hikari about a couple of weeks ago, and it was a good cook. Sitting up 0.39 floor, 0.4 floor.
Yeah. What did they mint at too? Those were
Well, it was a bit mad. So they first, this is what made me think this was going to pump. One of the mods used to work for a rug NFT project and sorted out a deal with the community to say, like, if you buy one of these NFTs, which was sitting at 0.02 floor, that if you burn that NFT in a system that they had, you can get whitelisted. And that NFT ran to 0.2.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then the Dutch auction, instant seller at 0.3. Then
for Hikari.
For Hikari, yeah. So the Dutch auction minted out at 0.3. And the whitelist was at 0.9. The team are very competent. Very, very, very competent. And I mean, even if you hold your I think the first airdrop is going to be anime magazine or an anime comic.
Yeah,
they're going to be releasing in 4 weeks' time. And then just build on that anime vibe. And going back to Azuki, people. I know you shouldn't really throw that blue chip name around, but the way I kind of thought of Azuki is like the Asian blue chip of, potentially an Asian blue chip. Yeah, an Asian blue chip. Because a lot of people in Asia haven't really been in the NFT game until this year. So now you're going to get that culture, which China alone is 2-point-something billion people. Yeah. And that's just China. So if you take the whole of Asia into account, China,
yeah, it's like a third of the world's population, maybe more. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you got that population really involved in NFTs, I can see Azuki being that blue chip NFT for Asia. Easy.
I think, again, we obviously just talk about the blue chip standing just really requiring time as much as anything else. But if they can continue building on what they've already accomplished, I mean, it really is just a matter of time before we can just confidently call them a blue chip, right?
I agree with Cass's take on it being the Asian blue chip, as the influencers who are big in it are all Asian. And I think they identify with it because the art is endemic to their culture.
That's exactly. Well said in my roguelike kind of dictionary in my mouth.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say good morning because I know normally when I get on, you just stay quiet and stay in the background and then do your own shit.
I'm doing pretty good today, Cass. I just got my coffee reheated, having a sip now.
You should be very happy, sir, because I actually spend more money on Star Wars than I have on any other project because of promotion, which is shit. But hey,
these things that I've heard from multiple people who have contacted me and told me quite literally, and I don't say this facetiously, bring a tear to my eye. The amount of work and thought and stress and effort we have put into this in trying to deliver a product we were proud of, and you just never know how the market is going to receive it. And I think, just like the Grinch, my heart has grown 3 sizes that day. So a huge shout out to you, of course, Cass, and everybody who supported Star Wolves. The team is heads down working, and we will not let you down.
Oh, talking about it, talking about the rest of it, did you check my Twitter, by the way?
Let me check it now.
Your Twitter, what? Your profile?
Yeah, check my last post. I'd like to introduce you to something.
Oh, is that all the wolves?
Okay, I'll explain what we've done. We've kind of created.
Oh, that's cool. Oh no, I liked it yesterday. I did see that. Yeah.
So we kind of imagine Star Wars being the university, and this is the frat club.
Love it.
You've started your own wolf fraternity.
Indeed.
Animal House.
Nice.
We call it Vibes Cartel. So we love the blob. We absolutely love the blob. We were talking about the blob in our little server, and yeah, we love the blob.
You mentioned Animal House Free Market. The residence that I lived in university was what Animal House was based on.
Are you serious?
Do you
Yep.
mean? What do you mean? Are you saying that facetiously, like, oh, we were such party animals?
No.
The
The residence, the building that I lived in was where the writers went, and that was like based on some of their experiences. Obviously,
National
exaggerated.
Lampoon was a Canadian group, wasn't it? Comedic group. Yep. National Lampoon, lots of Canadians.
Yep. We on our floor. I'm gonna. Some people are gonna start figuring this out. On our floor, there was a giant painting of Animal, the Muppet.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Now, when I went there, it certainly did not look anything like Animal House. It was actually quite tame. But that was
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. 0.0.
So yeah, like
That's a good
whenever
movie.
you guys want to pop in and come and chat and chill and throw some alpha and shit like that, then just come in, man. Like, doors open.
You guys have been loving the blobs, eh?
Indeed, we have, sir. Indeed.
Somebody put me onto Sprite
Did you get
for animating, and now I've been learning to animate with the blobs.
The blob is so fucking cool. And even the ones. Did you do the multicolored ones?
Yeah. I did all the animations for those little guys, and it was really for everyone's like, why are they doing this? It must mean something. And I'm like, no, man. Somebody told me about Sprite, and like gave me a little bit of a rundown on how to use it better. And now I've just been like, trying to figure out how things are supposed to move in animated form.
So wait, you done all the GIFs, including the first one, which is the good GIF.
Yeah.
Dude, that is our the good GIF is our motto, bro. Like that.
Did you see the one that was like crawling across the screen this morning?
Yeah, no, your art is inspirational to our.
I've never done anything animated before, and then I just started clicking. It's actually a pretty intuitive program, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And honestly, like the blob is super cute, but it's also pretty simple in its like form and whatnot. So it's not it's pretty easy to try and figure out how it's supposed to look. Legs and arms and stuff like that terrifies me.
Shit. Well, the one thing that was a topic of conversation was something that was a topic of conversation was, is it Alexia Space? Am I saying that right?
Space Elixir?
Yeah. So Space Elixir and gold. Those are two currencies in the game, correct?
Yeah, they're specifically in game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to ask any questions because I don't want you to tell anyone anything and just keep the kind of the mode of how you guys are doing it. But what we are thinking is that maybe there's what game is coming out today? Legend Maps.
Yes.
Legend Maps, right? So Legend Map Adventures.
FMC, are you still in on that project?
Yes, one of my favorite projects out there.
Did you mint your? Is it Adventurers or something?
Yeah, you can
No, I guess I have to go mint them. I've been busy. I haven't minted a damn thing in the last week, nor have I slept. So I am grumpy and under-minted.
Well, this is the thing. I'm actually surprised you guys. You know, yes, I get you're loyal, and you know, I'm surprised that you guys have kept the show going. To be fair, because to do a project is fucking hard, dude. Yeah.
This is like a good release too. Just the amount of like time to like have exposure to everything that's going on has been lower, and kind of the reason why we've just been kind of wrapping it up after, 50 minutes to an hour. Just kind of touch on those like big, broad, sweeping topics. Somebody, Elaine's asking about lobsters. Like, I haven't, if I'm being honest with you.
No, this is the thing. I mean, it's so hard to book. I mean, just going on. Once when you're doing a project, you haven't got time for anything else apart from the project. But I mean, even me snipering the project, okay, I have not had no time whatsoever looking at other projects. Like I nearly missed the Hakari mint because I bought a rank 59 Star Wars, So
yep.
it's so when people, you guys are doing a good job. You're doing a great job. Even bringing the information that you are bringing on a daily basis here, because
I appreciate that.
No, but it's true though, guys. You haven't got the fucking time to do anything at the moment, and for you to make time for this kind of shit, dude, like hats off, really hats off. Yeah, vibes, love, yeah,
Love you,
Thank
dude.
you, Cass. Love you, man.
So yeah, but 10 minutes and 15 minutes is up, and you guys better start working. So I'm gonna go.
You gotta hit the grindstone now, yeah, man. Yeah, we are gonna wrap it up. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Cass, I appreciate you jumping up here and hanging out with us, and everything that you've been doing in the Star Wolves community too. It's been a blast to interact with people and meet some new people and see the reception. So that's been just an absolute joy. For anybody that tuned in late, again, we talked, crypto kind of bounced back from where it was yesterday a little bit. Broke down below 3,000 briefly, but has kind of stabilized above it. We're going to be watching that to see where it goes. Coinbase and Bored Apes are, of course, looking to produce a film series, the first of which will debut at NFT NYC. Going to be looking forward to getting eyes on that. Epic Games raised $2 billion for a metaverse play. No word on crypto or NFTs and if there'll be a focal point in it, but you would hope so. We talked about a little bit about a new Discord hack, so be careful out there. Definitely don't try and open any images that aren't loading. Be on top of that. Be safe. Gary VeeFriends, 55K of them. Mint is starting today. 2-week allow list process. It's going to be fascinating to watch all of that go down because we've never really seen anything like it. And of course, Gary V is high profile enough to pull something like this off, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Not a cheap mint, going for over 0.3 per. So Gary V is going to have some ETH in the bank after this too. Big Azuki sale. Talked a little bit about Hakari. Cass came up on stage. Always a pleasure. Free market. Anything else you want to touch on?
No.
Sounds good, my friend. Okay, on that note, we are going to wrap this up. Of course, it is all recorded and on YouTube and Spotify. If you guys want to tune in and watch it later, we always appreciate when people, watch it after the fact. Weren't able to tune in live, but continue to show us love that way. So on that note, free market, get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gens.